Right before the pandemic hit, we were starting to get really busy. Things were just really jiving for us. We had staff, we were fully staffed, and we were getting ready to do this remodel that is now what we see. You know, it's doing really good, and then it just kind of came out of nowhere, and we just had to stop and readjust everything. I remember it happening like every moment. It was just like, what's going on? I didn't want to look at my phone because every like 20 minutes there was some new rule or something else going on or another shutdown, and no one knew what was really happening. So it was really terrifying kind of and concerning.
So as the pandemic unfolded, restaurants have been pivoting back and forth, trying to deal with all the changes that are happening in the industry. But one of the biggest changes that has happened is that people are leaving the industry. And so there is no staff now to run the restaurants at the level that they're used to. What used to maybe be, say, 20 people on staff is now down to 5. How do they make this work? How do they make this happen? I'm Amy Sherman from MLive and Michigan's Best. I've been in the restaurant industry for 20 years, but for the last 5 years, I've been a journalist at MLive. I'm really passionate about telling the story behind the restaurants in Michigan right now and what's happening behind the scenes. I'm excited to be here at Lucy's and to try my hand at washing dishes again and to helping them out, but really to hear the story behind what's happening with the staff here at this restaurant and at restaurants across Michigan.
I take the tops off.
Yep.
And I cut them into 3 different pieces. And each one goes 4.
Okay. Got it.
Lucy's has been here about 4 years, and I've been here 3 years. We are a full-time breakfast, lunch, and dinner restaurant in the Creston neighborhood. We started out as just a breakfast place, and now we're doing dinner too. But right now we're really dealing with a staff shortage problem. I mean, like all restaurants. We've been doing whatever we can to find people. They just, they're not out there. I think they switched careers or just taking advantage of this time off. That means summer's coming. Our industry doesn't really even allow vacations. You're working on the weekends. So if you're someone like who's been working a lot, all of a sudden you got a summer coming, like taking advantage of it a little bit, I guess. Like this industry's tough. It's not, people are maybe either switching industries or benefits somewhere else. There's with COVID going on, a lot of health things going on. People are a little more scared. And this industry doesn't really allow benefits, unfortunately. I wish it could. And we're a mom and pop shop, so we try to do what we can, and it's not always what we can do.
This has been a problem for years. This is a systemic problem that we need to deal with kind of now. We're talking about low wages. We're talking about no insurance for our workers. We're talking about not paying our farmers enough for the food that they're bringing to the restaurants. We're talking about food costs. There's so many things that haven't been dealt with in this industry, and I think the pandemic is the reason and the reckoning that we're gonna have right now. The biggest thing about restaurant people is that we want to provide this incredible level of hospitality. It's in our very nature to provide great hospitality. And when we can't do that, it's a heartbreaker. So for these chefs and these restaurant owners who can't provide that level because they don't have the staffing, it's breaking their hearts. None of these guys they never expected a pandemic. Yes, there were staffing issues before, but nothing on this level.
We've got about 20 staff members on our team, and I'd say about 80% of them have been with me for over a year and a half or more. So the core group we've got here is like, our family. Everyone's been together. We all love each other. I couldn't do this without them. We've gotten through a really tough year, and we're still going through it. We're growing so much. We're actually busier now than we were before the shutdown, and we're still at 50%. And then we opened up for dinner, so that's more shifts as well. We've had to pull dinners already on Friday and Saturday night, and we're going into like nicer weather season. It's kind of heartbreaking that we can't have our dinners open on the weekend right now. So we're really just got to get ready and find some people so that we can get that back open.
This past year has been one of the hardest years of my life. And not because I had to work hard or because I had to do hard things, but because I watched my friends fail. I watched my friends struggle. I watched my friends try as hard as they could. And there was many times nothing they could do to make it right because it was all out of their control. And yet this is the hardest working group of people you will ever meet, ever. And they would do anything to make it right.